Hey guys, what's up? It's Aurelius, and we're going to continue looking at PragerU videos. So today, we're going to be looking at this one, PM Asnar on Europe, America, and Israel. So let's see what he has to say. PragerU, Prager University. Oh wow, wisdom of the masters. An interview with former Prime Minister of Spain, Jose Maria Aznar. Okay, led by, with our boy, Dennis Prager. That was good spelling on my part. Just ignore that. So, Jose Aznar, yeah, he was Prime Minister of Spain from 1996 2004. He was a conservative. Yeah, he was president of the People's Party, which is a conservative party in Spain. Not really much to say. I don't know. He's going to be a conservative. So let's take a look.
I'm talking to the former Prime Minister of Spain, Jose Maria.
Whoa, what are these subtitles? Why is it in Vietnamese? Why did it auto go to Vietnamese? Okay, interesting.
Aznar. Mr. Prime Minister, as a world leader, how do you see America's role in the world?
All right.
Well, I believe in the leadership of U.S. I consider that the leadership of U.S. in the world currently is indispensable. And the U.S. basically is expression of democracy, of freedom, of expansion of these ideas.
Not always, but
I like this.
Okay.
But the President of America must be decisive, not irrelevant. If the influence of America declining, U.S. declining, the world will be more dangerous in the next future, inevitably.
See, people say stuff like this, but this really depends. What are we talking about here? Because if the decline in American influence is due to an emergence of, if the decline of American influence is ceding that influence to other major powers, such as Russia or China, for example, there's an argument to be made there that, not there's an argument to be made there. It's definitely true that the decline in that hegemony would have these knock-on effects of bringing us back to a world of like great power conflict or whatever. That's kind of just more due to that is if any kind of world power was like the unipolar superpower over the world, or the hyperpower, is the goofy term for it, right? But if that power is being ceded, say, to like strengthening international law or regional and supranational agreements, right? If that were the course that the world was going in, that is not the course that the world is going in. That it definitely wouldn't be true. Like, there's nothing like to claim that like, oh yeah, no, America's influence. Like, no, like America is an empire, and like any other empire, it can have stabilizing effects, on the world, right? But like to pretend that this is some like sacrosanct thing and that like nothing must be done to challenge American hegemony, which is basically what this ends up saying, is just BS. It's just not
Traditional
true.
Western values, including Judeo-Christian values,
oh boy,
have long been under attack in Europe. Is this how you see it?
I am very comfortable defending these values. Our problem is not defend these values. Our problem is to apologize for defend democracy or freedom or prosperity or for
I wouldn't really say those are all Christian values. I'd say that like Christian values are rather anti-democratic, anti-freedom. Particularly social values, just restricting restricting the rights of sexual minorities, banning abortion, stuff like that. I would say things like this rather restrict freedom, traditional gender roles.
The expression of a better world, no? I consider it extremely important. No? A world without values is a world that running in direction to intolerance and confrontation, inevitably.
Sure, if ever a world of religious values is running in that direction.
Plays a very big role in the lives of Europeans and increasingly here in the U.S. Does this concern you?
What does this mean? This is such a... I love when people say stuff like this. What does this mean? What do you mean? It's always played a very big role in the lives of everyone, in every regard.
Big government is a problem. The welfare state that we are created in Europe after the Second World War, in this moment, is unsustainable and untenable.
Why?
Big administrations, huge governments, a lot of interventionism is
Interventionism.
finally very...
I mean, I'd agree. So it depends. If we're talking foreign interventions, a lot of foreign interventions can be kind of bad at times. Well, it really depends. I'm not a strict anti-interventionalist, but like, what do you mean? Like in the how? Like, okay, you have to explain to it all.
then,
Like, okay,
why
he's just saying
do
regulation bad.
Europeans
No, but
love
let's just
big
say in
government?
response.
If you create
All
a system, and the system is the welfare system, you can be living in this system with very comfortable.
Correct.
If you work in with limited hours along the week, you have long holidays, you have a good health system, free education system. The comfortability of for a lot of people is very, very serious now. But the problem is nothing is free. Nothing is for free.
So are you saying that
Okay.
Europeans have chosen comfort over conviction?
Oh God.
We have forgotten the convictions now, because this success, the price of the European success is to forget convictions and to live in the indifference relating to values. And a country or a continent that don't believe in anything can fall believing in anything. And it is problematic.
Okay.
The European left, which is, after all, most of Europe.
No, it's not at all. I mean, oh God, was this even true at the time? I mean, hold on. Jeez. I mean, oh my God, European Parliament. How? Because people say that a lot. I mean, this is true. People say this on both the right and the left in North America and whatever, particularly. But I mean, like right now, for example, look at that. I mean, like, this is not a left-wing dominated parliament in the European Parliament. This is a nice approximation of the politics of, Europe as a whole. I mean, these are like the far left parties. These are social democrats, and then the other people are, I mean, Greens. Greens kind of is. There's right-wing Green parties and left-wing Green parties, right? So it's kind of a mix. Renew, liberal, so kind of like center left, but that's not really the left. I mean, maybe PragerU would regard it as the left, but like, I don't know. I'm not even really anti-liberal. I just mean that, like, yeah, that's more center left rather than left-wing. And then, yeah, a lot of it's like, yeah, there's Eurosceptic conservatives, and then the largest group is just conservatives. It's center-right parties. Like, yeah. And then there's Eurosceptics, and then there's also a large group of like far-righters, yeah, identity and democracy, which is like, what identity, right? Like European identity. Yeah. Hold on. Like, and let's even go back to the time, because this was what in this would have been the European Parliament at that time. And look at that. Yeah. It's not really can I see a graph of the whole oh my God, did I not have okay, here we are. So yeah, look at that. Like, it's the same deal. Like, I mean, most of Europe is not left wing. Like, it's not true at all. It's, I mean, it kind of leans right overall, like for their conservative parties, Now, I mean, a lot of European conservative parties, for example, have more interventionist economic policies than, I guess PragerU would like, since PragerU generally follows a bit of a libertarian bent. Well, it depends, but yeah, no, I mean, most of Europe is not left-wing.
Doesn't have much respect for conservative America. Why is this?
Well, okay.
This is an expression of European arrogance, no? European intellectual arrogance, no? They think one part of America is not very intelligent because it's not enough European.
Unlike
Okay.
many of your fellow Europeans, you're a great defender of Israel. Why?
Do you, what do you? What haven't there been proposals to like add Israel to the European Union? Those are relatively fringe, but like, I mean, like, what, most European, I guess the exceptions you can think of is like Ireland backed like BDS, and like I can't really think like yeah, like European states are pretty like very pro-Israel in a lot of ways. I mean, I mean, European states founded Israel ultimately. I mean, the Balfour Declaration and then the subsequent. I mean, like, like what do what? This is not true. That's not true historically, and it's not true in the present. Like, this is not. Yeah. I mean, activists and stuff like that are like anti-Israel, but this is always true.
This is a time to express naturally that Israel is a democracy, is a part of the Western world, is a democracy as US, as Spain or France or UK or Germany, is a democracy under threat, is a democracy that is in the front line of Western values. We share the same values, we share the same ideas, basically, and we must the responsibility and the obligation to defend Israel if Israel is under threat or Israel is under attack.
No, I mean it's a democracy for some people, but I mean, aside from the very obvious examples of Palestinians, in the West Bank and in Gaza, right, that are denied proper representative government actively by the actions of the Israeli government, whether it's through things like settlements or the brutal like blockade of Gaza, right? The reality is also that there are also a great deal of I forget exactly how many it is, and perhaps I'm being a little imprecise here, but there's also a great deal of Arab Israelis who face disenfranchisement, right? For various reasons. Hold on, Arab Israelis disenfranchised. Let's see how. Hold on, where not. Where there was let's see. Yes, exactly. That's what I mean more. Sorry. Yeah, I got it kind of wrong. Well, yeah. So the yeah, because I meant more within settlements, right? Because of course there are Israeli parties and stuff, but like yeah, within settlements and stuff, they that are occupied by Israel and have Israelis that can vote and are in Israeli controlled territory and whatever, right? Not internationally recognized controlled territory, but controlled territory nonetheless. Yeah, there's people in the settlements can vote, but the Palestinians can't, right? Like they're being denied self-determination, which is a foundational principle of like any proper democratic values, and they're being denied representation. That's wrong, so like it can't actually truly be a genuine democracy while it is directly disenfranchising millions of people, right? So and I mean, maybe there was a chance in the 90s to properly to like, and there was sorry, not maybe there was a chance in the 90s, for example, and it's not, I don't think this is a permanent thing necessarily, but at least for the time being it seems to be that there was a chance in the 90s during the peace negotiations and all that, which I'm sure PragerU would have opposed, to set up in Israel like a separate, like genuinely sovereign Palestine and alongside Israel and whatever, and that's fine. That would be okay. There's a two-state solution, whatever, that'd be fine, right? But right now, as it stands, I mean, the Israeli government is hell bent on this, continual far-right path of, suppressing and occupying and attempting to annex the Palestinian territories. And as long as that's the case, they're not a democracy, in a real full sense, like it's a democracy for a privileged class, and then dictatorial rule for the people that they're for the Palestinians, and that's just the way it is. I mean, yeah, sorry.
You have formed an organization to support Israel, the Friends of Israel Initiative.
God.
Tell us about it.
I'm not Jews. I have not any connection with, special connection with the Jewish people. And the most important question for this initiative, Friends of Israel Initiative, is precisely that there is a not Jewish organization that defend strategically the idea that the state of Israel is essential part of the Western world. Israel is a normal country, even more. Now it's a land of opportunities, of prosperity, an expression of prosperity, and high technology, and research, and a lot of opportunities for the people. But it's a democracy.
Thank you, Mr. Prime
Okay.
Minister.
God. Wisdom of the Masters. Preceding interview is made available for PragerU University. Okay. Well, thanks, Asnar. And thanks, Prager. Great. Tax deductible donation. So ridiculous. Well, hope you enjoyed that. We'll, next time, we'll take a look at, let's see what's next on the docket. Like, subscribe, whatever, if you enjoyed that. But yeah, next time we'll take a look at this, the American Trinity. That I'm interested in seeing. Anyway, yeah, hope you enjoyed. Have a good one. Bye-bye.